Zach Wilson, after that great win, efficient win against the Bills in Week 1, sort of reverted to his old self with 3 interceptions, only 1 touchdown. However, it was against the Dallas Cowboys and that very, very dominant defense. However, because, we sort of have been talking about Zach Wilson in the past and how poor he's been and how, surprisingly the Jets still believe in him, how about we take a look at what Zach Wilson thought, how good his performance was in Week 2.
I thought I was seeing it well. Yeah, it was nice having a week to prepare, and, I thought I knew the scheme well. I thought I was seeing it well, getting through my progressions and reads, and, it's going to be something to go back and watch on film is to see why, we just couldn't get over the hump and keep some drives established and going, and so we're going to keep learning to get better.
Not only that, I'll also bring up some of the quotes that we've had. It seems like his teammates still have full faith in him. This was Garrett Wilson. From the outside looking in, it's easy to play the quarterback blame game. What about his head coach, Robert Saleh, who still has full faith in him? I thought he did a nice job. Obviously, late in the game, he had to force the ball to make something happen, and obviously, it didn't go our way. He did a really nice job in the pocket, extending plays, scrambling. He had a couple of nice off-schedule plays. It just wasn't good enough. So I want to know, should the Jets stick with Zach Wilson as their quarterback 1?
What's Saleh going to say? He's the only quarterback he's got. And Zach Wilson's not playing any better than he did last year, right? He didn't play well in the Dallas game. He threw 3 interceptions, right? He had 9 fantasy points. He had a poor game. And he threw, now he has, 4 interceptions in 2 games?
I believe
right?
so,
Yeah, he had an interception in the first game. He did win that game. He played a lot better in the first one than he did against Dallas. I guess Dallas, maybe they're just world beaters this year. Could be. Their defense is really dominant. It seems like it's like just overwhelming, right? But that's the way the Bills started out last year, and then they kind of trickled off. But what's his name got hurt? Who's a Bills?
Damar Hamlin?
No, the other guy.
Von Miller.
Von Miller.
Gotcha.
Got hurt, and that hurt their defense. But if Micah Parsons stays healthy, wow, that defense looks like a world beater to me.
My defensive player of the year. So I was talking about this game with my friend because I said, you know what? On Tuesday we're going to talk about the Jets and how Zach Wilson played, and I was like, oh, it wasn't Zach Wilson's fault. The Dallas defense was so dominant. You can't put that on him. And while that is true, the Dallas defense did pressure him. I think about 50% of the time. May have been a little bit less, may have been a little bit more. I don't have the exact number in front of me. However, these interceptions, they were bad. Like, these were not on the Cowboys. These were on Zach Wilson. Here's the first one. This one's probably the worst one of them all. So, yes, he does get pressured up the middle and has to scramble to the right. But this is what we saw in the Patriots game. An interception directly. It's like he wasn't even looking at the defender. I think we have another angle on the all-22 here. Let's see if we can bring that up right after the end of this one. But, this one's bad. Bottom of your screen here. That's bad. He isn't even open. I don't even know what Zach Wilson's exactly looking at, per se. So, what about the next one? Here's another one. This one was sort of just a deep ball. Didn't really draw the safety away. This one, you could sort of say, it is what it is. Bad interception. It's sort of a throwaway ball. It is what it is.
It's a good punt.
It is a good punt. But what about this one? This one could have been a miscommunication, an off-target throw. I think they said it was a miscommunication. This one was bad. This one is just, unfortunate. And this is the all-22. The defender wasn't even on the screen, but the running back was. So
I would say, you know what? He hasn't learned much. In the first one, he just should have thrown the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He was being pressured badly. No one would have criticized him for throwing the ball out of bounds. Instead, he tried to force it in there, and they got intercepted. So I don't think he's learned a whole lot. I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to teach him a lot. I guess Aaron Rodgers wasn't there long enough to be able to impart any wisdom to Zach Wilson because he seems to be the same old Zach to me.
Well, I think I heard somewhere they're talking nearly every day or something like that. It seems like Rodgers' knowledge is not exactly rubbing off the way it maybe should with a first ballot Hall of Famer talking in a year about how to play the position. What else was incredibly shocking was, and the Jets, at least on social media, were blowing up. Sauce Gardner deactivated his X/Twitter account. Breece Hall tweeted out 4 footballs, definitely in reference to the fact that he only had 4 carries in the game, which is shocking.
9 yards.
2.3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
However, Breece Hall is your best running back. Dalvin Cook, look, here's the thing.
Four runs, 7 yards.
Dalvin Cook has looked bad. He's looked slow. He's looked bad. Breece Hall is clearly the best running back out of every single running back the Jets have. I mean, the fact that Breece Hall, who's probably your most explosive, he's definitely your most explosive running back, but, last year, it was him and Garrett Wilson who were pushing for that offensive rookie of the year. I mean, you got to give him more than 4 carries. You got to start something at least.
They have no confidence in their offensive line, obviously. They let Zach Wilson throw the ball.
Yeah, you threw it, 27 times, completed 12 of them for 170 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Yeah. Surprisingly, though, with the amount of pressure, only got sacked 3 times, which is, like I said, quite impressive. The defense, though, the defense had some trouble. The Jets defense did. The 255 yards passing for Dak Prescott, 134 rushing yards for the Cowboys.
How about CeeDee Lamb?
CeeDee Lamb, very, very good receiver.
143 yards receiving.
Yeah, no,
11 catches.
He's a very, very good receiver.
Yeah.
But regardless of what happens, I think there was some hope that the Jets defense, and I think I brought this up on Friday, that the Jets defense may be good enough to win them some games. I don't think that's the case anymore. I really don't think that's the case anymore. And I think it's realistic to say that this team probably could have been a 12-win team. And now, with one player being absent, in it being Aaron Rodgers, this team goes from 12 wins to maybe 8. Maybe 8. And that would be strictly defensive wins. Because Zach Wilson looked bad. He looked like the old Zach Wilson, kind of just slinging it. He looked okay through like 2.5 quarters. But he can't go out and win you games. He can't, rally a team back to win games.
Well, they gave up on the run too soon, I think. They should have tried to run it more.
I mean, you're down by 20.
They know that Zach Wilson's going to throw 3 interceptions every game. Don't let him throw it very much, right?
That's fair.
And if they do, just the short passes and give the ball to the running backs, because you do have 2 good ones, Bryce Hall and Dalvin Cook.
Right.
Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. I think those guys, they need to give them some chances. Give them some chances. I mean, Breece Hall, he had 4 carries for 9 yards, and his long was 9 yards. So 3 of them, he just stopped at the line of scrimmage. So I don't know. How about Tony Pollard? He had 72 yards on 25 carries, and Dallas had 134 yards rushing and 264 for the Jets.
Yeah.
Pretty big difference. Yeah.
So I don't have the schedule up for the viewers, but I'll read off some, think about this. The offensive line, we both thought, rightfully so, that the offensive line was a huge kryptonite regardless if Rodgers was in there or not. The offensive line was not good. And we saw it immediately from week 1. The offensive line would be a huge liability. Week 2, it was the same thing. So if we just take a look at a few of some really, really good defenses, the Patriots, they play next. The Chiefs are the game after that. The Broncos aren't bad. The Eagles. The Giants defense, they almost got shut down by Josh Dobbs. Don't love that. If they'll improve by week 8, so be it. The Chargers, on paper, like we've been saying, looks really good. However, Brandon Staley can't coach the defense for the life of him, so I'm not even including them. The Bills, the Bills defense, Dolphins defense, Miami's the Commanders defense has been actually pretty good. They're one of the highest graded pass rushers in the league. The Browns, the Patriots. I think that's what I list off. 11 teams with really good pass rushes. And if the Jets have that poor of an offensive line, hey, we could be seeing like a 6-win Jets team. And they have Zach
Wilson now as their quarterback. I think they're lucky if they win 7 games.
This could be a 6-7 win team. And that's...
They got a tough schedule. They have a hard schedule.
They do have a very, very hard schedule. Now, the question is, though, with Rodgers... he's trying to do this, miraculous surgery and be back by, be back by the Super Bowl, something like that. He's doing this.
Don't hurry. The team ain't gonna make the Super Bowl. I don't think you have to worry about that.
I completely agree with you there. But let's say Rodgers does come back, and I think he's got 2 years left on his. He did that.
He's coming back.
No, yeah,
he's coming back.
So he's coming back. Let's say he's got 2 more years left, right? The Jets don't necessarily need receivers. They don't need a running back. They don't need defense. You need an offensive line. So no matter where you are in the draft, because I think with where the Jets are going, they're going to be decently high in the draft. Get an offensive tackle. Get an offensive guard. get something. Your 2 tackles suck. In this game alone, the lowest graded players offensively for the Jets. Let's see if I can bring it up. I believe it was their 2 tackles. And Mekhi Becton. Oh, no, sorry. Their lowest 3. The first one was their center, Connor McGovern. He was the lowest graded one. But, tied with him is Mekhi Becton, their right tackle, and Dwayne Brown, their left tackle. So if you talk about the Patriots having a bad offensive line, the Jets have an even worse offensive line. They are, well, at least not run blocking, however, pass blocking, it's bad. So you got to work on the offensive line, especially now. You're going to have a 40-year-old quarterback next season who's going to turn 41 in December that season. You got to figure out how to get that offensive line right, because we could see another scenario where Rodgers goes down again. Or if anything, Rodgers is rendered ineffective because of the fact they have no offensive line. Because Dwayne Brown tried that chop block and Rodgers tore his Achilles. So you got to get a better offensive line. You got to get it's really as simple as that. What the Bucs did as soon as Brady got there, what'd they do? They drafted Tristan Wirfs, and he turned out to be an all-pro and looked phenomenal. You upgraded that offensive line. That's what the Bucs did as soon as Brady got there. It's what the Jets should have done if Rodgers got there. Dalvin,
you could be talking about the Patriots too.
They
need to be working on their offensive line too.
Here's the thing, Cole Strange. They were talking about the Patriots. I'll just quickly reference them. There was that one pitch play I saw right before the show, and I should have put it in the show. There was a pitch play where I forgot. I think it was to Ezekiel Elliott. Calvin Anderson looked like he was he didn't know what the hell was going on. He tried to block to the right. He couldn't see nobody. So the offensive line is bad. But the Jets so far, yeah, it's not pretty. It really is not pretty. And
they got to be worried.
A lot of people were hoping the defense could hold it in. I don't think they can get it done.
They weren't expecting this to happen.
Absolutely not. I mean, here's the thing. Even with Aaron Rodgers there, the offensive line still is terrible. And it was
Aaron
actually
Rodgers
worse than I thought it'd be.
isn't going to have 3 interceptions in a game.
Correct. No,
right?
that is true. That is true. But also, here's the thing. We expected the offensive line to be, questionable to say the least. I didn't think it'd be this bad. I really didn't think it'd be this bad. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see exactly how the Jets do, but it does not look great. The light at the end of the tunnel, I think right now is barely on. And honestly, I understand as teammates and as coaches to put confidence in your players. But at some point, just like the 49ers did with Trey Lance, you got to cut loose. In the case of this, though, you saw what Zach Wilson brings to the table. Trey Lance, you kind of did, but not really. In this case, you saw what he brought to the table. And so far, it's been bad. And now you're going against New England, where Zach Wilson has been abysmal, and you're praying you have a game like last season where it's 3-3 going into like the final 20 seconds or whatever. Except this time you're hoping that Marcus Jones doesn't return it back for a punt return touchdown to end the game. That's what you're hoping. So we'll have to wait and see this week. 1 p.m. game. Patriots at Jets. We'll definitely be breaking down that game on next Tuesday. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.